Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Afterburner. I'm Bill Woodall. You know, a few days ago, the chief executive of the government with the largest economy in the history of the world, 5% of the world's population producing 26% of its GDP, largely through the efforts of small businessmen and women, had this to say.
If you've been successful, you didn't get there on your own. You didn't get there on your own. I'm always struck by people who think, well, it must be because I was just so smart. There are a lot of smart people out there. It must be because I worked harder than everybody else. Let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of hard-working people out there. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
What do you say to that? I know many Americans were not just insulted by this, they were stunned. They were actually stunned by it. Now, of course, if you're one of those people who've been willing to go to the time and effort to become your own newspaper or TV network and do the digging and fact-checking required to fill the place of a criminally negligent press, then of course you were not surprised at all, were you? In fact, how else could this president feel about the issue? A man whose grandparents deliberately moved to Mercer Island, Washington, specifically so they could enroll his mother in the one openly communist and atheist school in all of 1950s America. A man whose same grandfather chose communist radical Frank Marshall Davis to be his spiritual and political mentor. A man whose political career started in the living room of Marxist terrorist Bill Ayers, and so on, and so on, and so on. So all of that "your business belongs to the workers" drivel is not only not news to those of us who know just who and what Barack Obama really is, it's actually inevitable when you think about it. He was raised by feral Marxists out in the wild. It's all he knows. But watching Obama say that your hard-earned success really is the result of other people's work produced a remarkable insight from my friend Jeremy Boring, who remarked that if you look at Barack Obama's life, it is nothing but the story of doors magically opening for him as he approaches from across the street. It's the story of a born narcissist who, by some miracle, has always stepped into larger roles prepared for him by someone else. He doesn't know how it happened, and he certainly doesn't seem to care. It's a miracle. Hey, would you like some examples? Well, the boy who tells us he led such a hard, scrapple life that his mother needed food stamps and couldn't afford the health insurance that would have saved her life somehow found himself at Punahou School in Hawaii, one of the most exclusive and expensive private schools in the most exclusive and expensive state in the Union. Wow, it's a miracle. While at Columbia University, all-American boy Barry Soetoro not only rooms with foreign students, he also, by some miracle, manages to travel to Pakistan with his friends at the times when travel to Pakistan on U.S. passports was prohibited. At least that's what I understand of the issue. Of course, it'd be nice to be able to verify all this, but the president's travel records, like his academic records and his medical records, have been miraculously sealed. While at Harvard University, he becomes the first student ever to be president of the Harvard Law Review and not be required to write an actual law review. It's a miracle. As an unknown, unpublished author, he's miraculously given a $100,000 advance to write a book on race relations when he spends all of this money not producing, an actual manuscript. He asks for and receives another $40,000 advance to finish not the book that the publishers wanted, but rather the first of his 2 autobiographies. And as a professional writer myself, I would describe that situation as miraculous. But miracles continue in abundance for Barack Obama. He gets a miraculously sweet deal on a house from convicted felon and Chicago machine real estate tycoon Tony Rezko. In 2004, Obama becomes a U.S. Senator by winning an election against Jack Ryan, whose messy and embarrassing but legally sealed divorce settlements miraculously somehow become unsealed. As a U.S. Senator, he passes virtually no legislation and is known for voting present on all matters of importance. This, coupled with a total lack of business management experience, is miraculously considered qualification for the most powerful office in the world. He attends Reverend Wright's Marxist, anti-American, anti-white, hate-filled church for 20 years, and yet, miraculously, he's absent on the days when Wright preaches against capitalism, American culpability, and white privilege. He sells out America's ability to defend itself against missile attack to our mortal enemies solely for personal political gain, and he does it on television. And instead of it being called treason, because that is the definition of treason, he taps a microphone the next day and says, "Is this thing on?" And everybody smiles and laughs, and it's a living, breathing miracle. So of course he doesn't recognize the hard work and the sacrifice and the pain and the persistence and the effort and the failure and the recovery from failure that goes into starting and running a business. And of course he says someone else did that for you, because for his entire life, someone else has done it for him. It's all he knows. Of course, the question then becomes, who did it for him and why? You know, if we had a free press, someone would be trying to find the answers to these questions, but some miracles, it seems, are just too large for this world